Okay, welcome to the Create Great Video Content with a Phone training course. And let me just start with this. Before this course even started, I cranked my desk so I could do this entire thing standing, and here's why. If I was seated, man, you'd be able to tell I was seated. My energy would be different, my voice would be different, right? That's called tone of voice. And the reason we do video is so people can see our face and add that extra element. I want them to see my eyebrows moving and my face smiling at them like an idiot, right? These are the things I use to make them like me. And tone of voice is in there too, right? So you can't put that stuff in an email. And that's why you got to learn to not be afraid of making a video. You understand what I mean by that? If it was the 1800s and I only saw one photo of you in your whole life, be nervous. Because if you look silly in that photo, I'm going to think you look like that forever, right? So that part makes sense. But if you make a volume of video content now, it doesn't matter if you have a bad hair day because people know what you really look like. And if you think you look so bad that you can't make a video, then you might look too bad to talk to a customer. Right? So quit being afraid of the phone, and let's talk about some of the ways that you can pull that thing out of your pocket and make a little bit of money with it by staying in front of customers that aren't at the dealership. As a prospecting tool, as an advertising tool, as a follow-up tool, video will make you money. This is not just some chore you have to do. This is one of the key components that you can use to stay in front of people, prospect, and earn more money for your business. Okay? So some of the things that we're going to cover are bad versus good lighting. Very quick how to, not to, what to, on how to get the shot that looks good. Trust me, when you look at your videos, if your first thought is, man, I look good, woo, right? Then you're not going to have a hard time making a second video. And if your first thought is, man, the lighting looks good, but I did something wrong, then you know what to fix. But the first thing is getting you in that right light so you have a good chance of, call it the makeup mirror effect. We'll talk about that in this chapter, of really going, hey, look at me, baby. I look pretty good. So second chapter is frame the shot. Really what we're going to talk about is how to not frame the shot. How to, obviously if you're filming someone else, there's some rules that we'll go over. But really we're going to talk about how to hold the camera in such a way that you don't have to think about where you're framing the shot. It's always pointed right back at you, and you can just focus on talking to your customer. And we're going to talk about how to hold the camera steady in chapter 3. Nobody likes the earthquake footage, man. And it's not hard to get around that. With some real simple techniques, we can show you how to create steady footage that's watchable, and you don't need to ship your customers seasickness pills before you have them watch your videos. The last one is how to avoid audio mistakes. And this is super, super, super simple. It's just a list of some things not to do and some quick advice about how to just keep that camera close enough to the person that's in your video that you let the camera do its work. Let the camera be the microphone, right? The problem is just don't get so far away. I don't know why everyone has this tendency to want to film everyone as if they're taking a picture of the Grand Canyon. So we're going to talk about how to stay right and close with somebody and get that great quality audio out of that high quality microphone that's already built into your phone. And then we're going to talk a little bit about 3-act scripts. This is a basic sales premise of how to talk in 3 acts and how to make this easy to create and memorize video scripts that make it easier to write them, easier to perform them, easier to memorize them, and ultimately makes them a more engaging sales premise for the person who's listening to your videos. All right, so let's jump right into the first chapter. I'll see you over there. Okay, chapter 1, good versus bad lighting. And believe me, the customers notice the difference. And my goal is to get you in that spot, like I said, where you're looking at the footage going, man, I look good. And this is how. So what we're going to do first is cover some of the most common mistakes that I see made. This is my beautiful wife that you'll see acting as our model for what to do and what not to do. Let's jump right in. Okay, so first of all, this device, you don't need to know what it is, but you do need to know why it exists. So it was created to help film production studios and production people compare the light, the brightness, the actual brightness. When you walk outside, your eyes adjust automatically. Cameras don't do that. So what they're trying to do is figure out the brightness of maybe the background, the sky, and the person. And this is one of the same things you're going to want to focus on, is making sure that in your shot, the person you're filming is about as bright as the background. And we'll talk a little bit about why that matters. So we're going to try to avoid shooting directly under overhead lighting, placing the subject in front of windows or doors where you get that silhouetted look, shooting under shaded areas, shooting with side lighting, which is really common, and shooting with the sun and the subject's eyes. So we're going to go over these things really quickly and just try to move through this chapter because there really is just one right way to do it. And if you just focus on that, you don't need to worry so much about making these mistakes. So this is in front of windows. This is actually what happens when you put a customer or a person or someone you're filming underneath the shade, or even yourself, with the background being much brighter. The camera kind of has to pick between one of these two looks. Either you're normal and the background's too bright, or the background's normal and you're too dark, because you're separate brightnesses. So one of the things you want to focus on is just trying to make sure that you match your background. That's one of the most common mistakes. Shade usually provides really good lighting for your subject or for yourself. So sometimes what I do is hunt a dealership for an overhang or a side of the dealership. If the building's a square and it's 2 stories tall, it's casted shade on one of those sides, right? So that's something to think about. Under overhead lighting is another really common mistake, because people, when they make videos, will head for a bright area in the dealership, but you'll see all the shadows underneath the eyelids here. If the area you're standing in is inherently bright, but the light's all on the ceiling, it's not going to make for a good lighted face, because it's going to put a lot of shadows underneath your eyes, underneath your nose, and it's not going to light your subject's face or your face very well. Another really common one is to stand with the sun directly in somebody's eyes, which obviously is going to light them pretty well, but it's going to give them this, oh my God, I can't see look on their face, which is never really that great for a video. If you'd like to if you have the option, you can wait until what's called, it's a little pro tip, the golden hours, which is basically a time when you walk outside, everything looks pleasant to the eye because your eyes adjusted. It's actually not nearly as bright as it is during a 1 p.m., 2 p.m. as it is at a 6 or 7, right when that sun's about to go down. And so it kind of casts like the opposite of shade. It's like lit shade, this nice warm glow, and everything looks good. If you can choose when to do your videos, that's a great time to choose. Here's another problem: having the subject stand with the sun off to one side. Now, whether it's the left side or the right side, you want to make a choice here about exactly how to orient yourself in the sun, or even just try to avoid shooting in this scenario altogether by following our one last tip here. So if you look in the top right, what I've actually had our model do here is just wander up to one of those big plate glass windows that's in every single dealership. It's a horizontal window, and what it does, it forces all the light to flow into into the frame horizontally. So now she's lit, if you look in the bottom right, essentially about like a makeup mirror would be. If you look at the top left, you can see me actually taking the picture of her, and you can see someone in the background there learning a thing or two up in the top left. But look how amazing that shot looks, and it's effortless. And you wouldn't think, walking into this dark corner in the top right, that this is how to achieve it. Every single dealership has either big plate glass doors or big windows. And if you wander up to that window and pull your phone out and put the phone against the glass and look back at yourself, you're going to find that you look almost perfect every single time. So that's really the hidden key between trying to get that perfect look, is to just find a horizontal direction of light that is controllable, wander up to it, and just play around, spin around a little bit, and you'll see that when you're in front of these windows, the lighting always looks great. If you look great, you're gonna like your videos, and your videos are gonna look great too. So that's the end of this chapter. Go have fun with great light, and I'll see you in chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2, frame the shot. So the thing here is, these are just some basic rules. And if you play along with this, you're going to see, man, I see this stuff all over on TV. These are rules everyone's following. And it's basically just about how to not always directly center somebody on the frame, how to make choices about how to hold the phone, and then just where to look, how to hold the phone so that you get the best possible result, all right? So the first thing, is there a right way to hold a camera? Every year, I feel like the answer on this changes. You just need to understand that there's 2 ways. And for classic video formats like website videos, bio videos, stuff like that, you're going to want to hold the camera horizontally. When I do response videos for customers, I always hold the camera horizontally so that I'm in one side of the frame and the thing I want to show is off on the other side. There's also a great use for vertical if you're making ads and stuff like that, or if you just want your video to take up as much of somebody's phone as possible. That's a great way to do that, because horizontal ads only are as tall as they are tall, and Facebook sorts things by their height. So a portrait video will actually take up more space on somebody's phone if it shows up in their news feed or when they're watching it on Instagram stories. So just food for thought. There's different things for different situations, but one of the things that's constant is you always want to look right down this camera hole. That's the tip here, is make sure you're making eye contact, not with yourself on the frame, but actually with that little hole on the camera. Big tip there. Secondly, learn what's called the thirds rule. So this is basically just the fact that you don't want your subject centered necessarily on the frame. If you're going to use this horizontal setup, you can even use these grid lines. It's an option that you can pull up on your phone, and it'll really help you understand the 9 boxes of space that you have and how you'd like to use them. You see here, I have her in this frame right just to the left, using the left 2 boxes, but not at all using that right third. And that's part of what I use to do my storytelling and kind of show some background, or just to give some depth into the scene, so that you're not just staring right at the person that I'm interviewing. If you're going to go portrait style, it's sort of the opposite, where you do just put them dead center in the frame the way you would if you were taking a picture, but still pay attention. What's that background like? What's behind them? Is there color back there? Is it boring? And hopefully never should it be on a flat wall. That's the worst case scenario, right? And we'll talk more about how to frame that and set that up here in the next chapters. So this is the biggest mistake that people make. I call this the Grand Canyon effect, but this is a great background. They've put her in a great place, but they've put her so far back that I see below her feet and above her head. This isn't the way that people want to talk to other people, because I can't see her face. I can't read her expressions. And so I'm losing that ability to control the customer with tone of voice and my body language and the little things I'm doing with my eyebrows, right? And I also make it harder on the microphone to do its job. So you want to start with a background that's just like this, but move that person up to where they could reach out and smack the phone out of your hands if they wanted to. And this is the difference that everybody's making this mistake wise on, is they're not setting up their subject the way a newscaster's set up, where they're in the frame and you can actually see as much of the person as you can the background. You'll notice we've taken advantage of the thirds rule again, but this time put her off just to the right rather than off just to the left. And look at what's off to the left is our dealer of the year. So we're sort of telling some story here, giving people places to look and controlling where we'd like them to look with the way we put the person in the shot. So generally, if you missed all that, just move the person up close. So when you're picking a background, one of the things you want to focus on is having color, depth, and straight lines. And this allows you to have a shot that's more engaging. You'll notice I've got various colors in here, various depths, things at different distances in the shot, and straight lines tend to create angular lines as they go into the background, as you might have learned in art class, and they look great. So straight lines never show up on camera as straight. So it's one of the things that adds some geometry to the background to make it look cool. So just ask yourself, when you're setting up for an interview or putting somebody on the camera, is there color in this frame? Is there depth in this frame? Is there straight lines? It doesn't have to be all three. Any combination of those will work. I've definitely found myself in the past dragging yellow mop buckets into a frame just to put a splash of color in there. But keep that in mind. So again, the key to this chapter, 100% when you're framing the shot, is pick a great background that works with your light. Look at the direction of your light. Pick a background that's in that direction. Then, once you like the background, then move the person in. Too often somebody says, hey, I'm going to film you. You stand there, and then they spin around them, right? You decide where you want to stand, and then have that person come up to you until they occupy this amount of the frame, left or right side of the frame, right? When you frame somebody in the shot, it makes for a shot that's more watchable. The more watchable your videos are, the better your videos are. So go play around with backgrounds, depth, color, straight lines, and make sure to use that thirds rule. You have guidelines on your phone to create some awesome videos, and I'll see you over in chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3, hold steady. So this is a technique. This isn't even a chapter. This is a technique. And if you learn this technique, you're going to find that you don't have to think about holding the camera steady. You don't even got to think about where you're aiming the camera, because the camera's always aiming back at you. And you see my wife here demonstrating this technique: locked elbow, locked shoulder, and a good solid grip on the phone so that the phone is always looking back down your arm back at you. This is something that's worth the time to practice. Don't say, hey, I saw the slide, I got it. Get your phone out, walk around the lot. And did I say walk around the lot there? Like I'm from Boston. Walk around the lot there like a regular person would, but have that phone out like a weirdo, looking back at yourself until this is third-party natural stuff that you're not even thinking about. The more you're not thinking about videoing yourself, the more you can focus on being entertaining. And that's the point of making a video, right? So first thing, move slow. Don't be in a rush. That one seems obvious, but most small movements, fine. You can move left, you can move right, but what videos don't like is jerks and sudden changes of direction. Slow is steady, and steady is smooth. So filming is like standing or walking with a hot coffee. If you've ever tried this, if you hold the coffee close to your body, like, oh man, I don't want to spill this coffee, it'll slosh everywhere. But take a cup of coffee and hold it as far away from your body as you can, and notice that it almost doesn't slosh at all. You can, almost sprint across the showroom floor with it and it won't slosh. If you hold it close, everything that happens to your hips gets imparted onto that cup of coffee. Well, the camera's the exact same way. You got to take this part seriously. This is I spend more time correcting people and coaching on this particular thing than any other one thing. You have to hold the camera imagine it, that I'm trying to hold this camera as far away from my body as I can. Not the comfortable amount, not reasonably far away, as far away as I can. Extend your elbow, extend your shoulder, and you're going to find that when you do that, you've taken your arm and created a selfie stick that's in your hands at all times. And that's the important part. No one's carrying a selfie stick around with them all day. And I honestly think that this looks better anyways when you get the technique down. So once you're doing that and you're looking back at yourself, or if you're filming someone else, this is just a very quick tip. Rather than try to manage the entire frame, manage that space above and to the left of your head if you're looking back at yourself, or at their head if you're filming some other subject. This is the simplest way to make videos that don't shake and don't chase the subject all over the frame. Who cares what's happening on the bottom side of the frame? Who cares what happens on the right side of the frame? If you've got your subject's face in focus and pinned into those two average distances in the top left part of the frame, or if they're on the right side of the frame, on the right side of the frame. But if you just manage those two edges, you're going to have a much easier time with your eye than looking all over the frame and trying to play videographer the whole time. So just manage those edges. It'll make sort of operating a camera on the fly much, much easier. And again, if you get this technique down right, you don't even have to worry about managing the edges because the camera's always looking right back at you with a little space above your head and a little space to the side. So this is the technique. Now, this isn't the perfect example of it. If you'll notice, I did this to look good for the cover, but she doesn't have her arm slacked and she doesn't have her elbow slacked. So we're going to use this as an example of what not to do. This is what I think most people try to do, is just sort of hold it out there generally, which can look okay, but you want it to be as far away from you, both so that you're in the frame more tightly and you're not cropping your own face as you move around, but also just so that it's still and there's no shake and that you don't have to think, should I aim left? Should I aim up? Should I aim right? You're just holding it out there like a satellite that's following you. And when you practice this technique, it allows you to sort of gesture off to the other side of the frame with your free hand and walk around the lot and show people things, different cars, different trims. It allows you to do something with the video other than just talk. So it's a really important technique that's worth the time to practice. So one of the jokes that we came up with here is that if you imagine when you fire a bow and arrow, you extend that arm, you lock that shoulder. But also one of the things is if you're firing a bow and arrow, and imagine this, and you're looking at your lead hand, you are looking to the left. So when you hold a camera for a selfie style version of this technique, what you want to have is that camera actually held to your left the way you would if you were shooting a bow and not out in front of you looking back at you. So imagine your shoulders pinned, and when you want to turn and talk to the customer, you're actually turning left with your head the way you would if you were preparing to shoot a bow and arrow. Okay, so both the locked arm and the turned head are the key to understanding how to use this technique. Fully extend your arm and look left at the customer and straight to look at other things, and you're going to find it super easy to create engaging videos that customers love, and they're easy to make. Can't beat that. See you over in chapter 4. Welcome to chapter 4, how to avoid those common audio mistakes. I almost didn't make this chapter. If you follow all the guidelines that have gotten you to chapter 4, you won't have a problem with audio ever again. But audio is one of the most common mistakes that you see or find on videos made by amateurs. And so let's talk about how to make sure you're not one of those people. Perfect. So again, you don't need to worry about what this device is. You don't need a device like this because you have a $1,500 cell phone in your pocket that's designed around a fantastic microphone. So all you've got to do is focus on the environment and how close you get that microphone to your subject, and you're good. You're so good. You don't have to worry about nothing. Okay, so just avoid gusty winds. Now, again, winds of any kind, a steady, consistent wind you can work with. A gusty wind is very noticeable on camera. It, and then it not, and then when it comes back, people, they don't like it, okay? And it'll interrupt you too and kind of interrupt your thought process because you can hear it clip in the microphone. Service department noises, same thing. The reason that they're they're just so distracting is you don't know when they're going to occur. And all the random noises, they're very jarring. So stay away from busy mechanical noises that are not following some type of a pattern. If you've got a pump in the background that's making a very consistent tick, 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 very livable. But if you've got random noises that are disruptive, that's what it's going to start to bother you and bother the person listening to the video and trying to enjoy it. Enjoy the sound of your sweet voice, right? Roads and nearby traffic are another one. It's just sort of tacky and it doesn't sound good on camera to hear the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh or whatever it is. No road noise where possible. Just try to stay away from the curb. So overhead music is another one people forget about. If you're making an ad and you like the song that's on, rock it, baby. That just became your soundtrack, right? But if you're making something that you intend to edit, make sure to kill any background noise because that'll make it impossible to edit the thing that you're hearing without making it obvious that you've been putting your paws on the video track, right? So standing too far from your subject, I wish I could highlight this one. This is the number one mistake. And generally the only thing you need to do to make sure you have great audio is avoid making this mistake. And the last slide, just stay in close. If you've been paying attention to the previous slides to get you here to chapter 4, this one isn't very long. You've already done the work you need to not make those audio mistakes. So if you just avoid those gusty winds, those service departments, those road noises, and you follow the guidelines on how to frame your subject should be close enough to your camera that you can reach out or they can reach out and smack the camera out of your hands. As long as you don't make the mistake of letting the person get too far back in the frame and you have them up in the frame following the proper thirds rule that was there in the previous chapters, you're never going to have a problem with audio. Again, your camera's design, one of the most expensive components on your camera other than the processor is the cameras and microphones. So let your high quality recording device do the heavy lifting for you. This is a very simple chapter. Bring your subjects in close to the camera, avoid those interrupting sounds, and you're going to have high quality audio in your videos that you enjoy listening to. It's going to lead to you making more videos, improving, because every time you make a video, you get a little bit better at it. And now you're going to make more videos, you're going to send them to more customers, and you're going to make more money, all because you learned how to do good audio. Awesome. Listen, this is an easy one. Don't make this mistake. It's simple. Just bring them close to the microphone, man. All right, I'll see you over there in the next chapter. Okay, here we are, chapter 5, the big finish. Listen, these scripts are so important. The hardest part about making the video good is performing it in a believable way. If you're trying to memorize exactly what it is you want to say, you're not in a position to really influence the person that's hearing and receiving that message. Does that make sense? So these 3X scripts are how to create a problem, talk about the effort that goes into solving that problem, and then how you're the unique solution to that problem, and tell them exactly what action to take. And you're going to find as a salesperson, when you work in these 3X scripts, you already know what to say, right? So instead of trying to memorize some long stretch of words, just state the problem or the premise that you are attempting to solve. Then you state the effort or the solution that you've provided for that problem, and then just tell your customer what to do. So this is the easiest way there is to make videos that are easy to perform, because by the time you've said, we know customers hate having to come in and be asked a million questions, right? Okay, so what do you do about that? Right? So I get all that information from you before you even come in, get everything prepared for you so that you can have an amazing experience. Okay, so what are you going to do with that information? So if you want to have an amazing experience, right, then come see me where everything will be taken care of before you get here, and I'll make sure you have a great time, right? So I state the problem. I understand you don't want a certain thing. I state my effort. Here's how I've solved that for you. And then I tell them what action to take part in that offer, right? This is a structure that makes it easy to write ads, makes it easy to come up with what to say to customers on response videos, and most of all, it makes it easy to perform the ads in a memorable way, in a way that'll land with the customer as a real sales premise, because you started with the problem, you solved the problem, and then you told them how to get that solution, right? It's a very concise structure for them to take in and for you to produce, memorize, and perform. So let's just give some quick examples here. This one's for trade-in values. If you have a trade-in like most people do, getting the right value for the car that you own now is just as important as getting the right price on the car you want to buy, right? That's my premise. So they're like, man, yeah, he's right. So that's why we go the extra mile to do a hands-on appraisal of every vehicle being considered for trade-in. We don't just pull the vehicle from some book value. If your car has clean records, low miles, new tires, or it's just in great shape, we can and will be able to recognize and value that. They're going, wow, that's a unique thing that maybe not every place would do. And my car is in great shape, right? Now I'm selling them. So the call to action, Often getting the right price for a customer comes down to those last few $100s. So if you have a beautiful car now that you need to trade out of when you upgrade, come see us, right? And get a great deal on your new car and a great offer on your trade-in. Boom, that's the ad, right? So problem, solution, call to action. Let's try this again on, let's say I wanted to sell the 2019 Atlas. So one of the solutions or one of the problems that the Atlas solves is this 7-passenger vehicle problem. So if you're interested in upgrading your SUV or used to having to settle in order to get anywhere with 7 passengers, never settle again until you've driven the new 2019 Atlas. So this is the problem. You have to settle if you have 7 passengers, right? The 2019 Atlas doesn't drive like a 7-passenger vehicle, even loaded with 7 passengers with all-wheel drive, amazing balance, and plenty of room. This is an SUV that truly has to be driven to be believed. So the effort is you got to come experience it. The solution is the design of the vehicle, right? So the call to action, with just a few clicks, you can schedule any time that works for you to come drive this car and decide for yourself if you agree, right? So boom, we're telling them what to do to take part in our offer. So another example of this was an ad that we had made for a casino. If you're in the market to upgrade your vehicle and you work at Tulalip Casino, we offer employee pricing to all casino employees, right? So they're thinking, the problem is they got served this ad because they were on the website looking at cars and they were just at the casino. I know both those things from Facebook, but they're thinking, man, I'm not an employee at this casino. So then the gimmick or the effort or the solution is, in fact, this month we'll extend this offer to anyone who's even been to the casino. Just bring in a poker chip or a parking receipt. We're putting some type of action on them, or even a picture of you inside the casino, and we'll give you the same great deal. This is an ad we actually have running, and it performs amazingly because it convinces the person that there's a unique opportunity that they can take advantage of. There isn't a better price available, even to the owner's family. But don't forget, bring proof you were at the casino, so we're telling them how to take part in the offer, right? Like, again, this isn't just a way to build a very salesy video. This is a way to build something that you can perform openly, easily, on your feet, and still remember to use your eyebrows and your tone of voice to make it memorable, right? So I call this the ice wisdom. If this helps you guys remember it, yo, if there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook, right? So Vanilla Ice already had this going for him. He had the problem premise, the effort solution, and then the call to action to check out the hook. These are the keys to creating content that's engaging, memorable, easy to perform, and will help put dollars in your pocket. So let me go on to the next chapter and show you guys some quick example scripts that you can use. Okay, this is the personal introduction video. This is a super important video for clients of mine. If you're on this platform as a salesperson or a staff member of a client of ours, this is an ad that gets ran for you with no cost out of your pocket by your dealer. All you've got to do is produce an ad that makes a customer want to work with you. I will get this ad personally in front of people leaving your website so you can influence them that you are the perfect person. Forget the car, all right? That you're the perfect person that will work to give them the perfect experience. So it's a little bit about you, but it's also about believing that you will create an experience. So now you've taken, instead of it just being about the car, now it's about 3 things, and they got to compare those things to every other opportunity out there, right? So this is about how to maybe not have the right trim. Maybe the one they really wanted is only 30 minutes away, but they're going to shop with you anyway, right? And this also gives us a chance to take somebody who's just like you, your perfect customer, put you in front of them and have them call and decide to work with you rather than just drive into the lot, right? Good for the store and good for you. So this is super, super simple. I've done these and people, they write me a 30 to, in some cases, 4 or 5 minute long, hey, I was born here, I went to high school. This isn't a bio of you. This is a quick chance to pitch what you can do that's unique for a customer. So what I like to call this is the Charlotte's Web presentation. If you remember Charlotte's Web, the spider just shouted things about the pig. He's radiant, right? So it's sort of the same thing, man. Just pick 2 things that you think are true and unique that you can follow through with about yourself. Hey, man, you're good at helping someone compare options. You know all the pre-owned cars. You follow up well after the sale. Hey, you really respect somebody's time. Man, I come in every morning early and really keep track of this inventory. Hey, I have a lot of respect for your time. I get it. Listen, I'm just fun to work with, man. Everyone has a good time. Hey, I work my butt off to really know the product, right? So whatever it is, find 2 things that are true for you and just follow this template over here on your right?
Hey, you, it's me. I know the product really well and I keep track of the inventory so I can make sure my customers have a great time and always know what's coming in and what's on our lot at any given time.
So I just stated the benefit of those 2 things that I do.
So if you want to know exactly what cars are coming in and exactly what cars are on the lot, then don't shop around and get some random guy or girl. Shop with me name, right? Bobby. And I'll make sure you have an awesome time and never have to worry about what cars are on the lot, or never have to wonder about the trim models that we have available.
Or whatever, right? So you can run this back with any of these. Hey, I respect your time and I'm fun to work with, right? I know you got places to be and don't want to spend all day at a dealership. And when you are here, you want to have a good time, right? So if you want to have a good time and get out of here with your time being valued, then come shop with me. Don't get some random experience. I'll make sure you have an awesome time and don't waste your time, right? So just sort of use this template on the right. Pick a couple of things that are valuable that you think you can back up, that are true and honest about you as a salesperson. Put them out there. Tell people why they should care and what that will do for their experience. And then tell them what to do, what action to take, right? To do business with you and get involved. This is a super, super simple script. I can include your cell phone on this. And if you give me this script, the dealership will spend $100 to $200 a month in some cases, putting this in front of every single person leaving the website. If you're at a dealership where you're looking to your left and your right, and the people who you show up to work with haven't gotten me this video, that means there's even a bigger opportunity for you, because you're going to be the one that gets in front of those customers that are leaving the website, which is almost every customer who's coming on the lot, right? So why not get your face in front of them? Tell them what you can do for them. Smile like an idiot at the end of the video and make yourself a few extra bucks. Okay, welcome to the vehicle segment introduction video. This is a simple one and not a video you should mess with if you haven't already gotten me your personal introduction video. But one of the interesting things about the program that we run, if you're on this platform as a salesperson of a client of mine, then that means any videos you get me, I'll run for you at that active audience that's on your website all last week and this week looking at cars, right? So one of the things that happens is I actually know what the people leaving the website looked at, whether it was a performance car or whether it was an under $10,000 ride, or if it has off-road ability and every other type of metric you can know about a vehicle, right? So what I want you to do is to claim to be the either premium place, premium person, or have premium knowledge about any of these vehicle segments. So if that could include, hey, listen, I spend my weekends on a trail, right? So if you want to buy an off-road vehicle, come talk to somebody who knows where to drive it, how to drive it, and how cool it is, right?
Hey, I used to drive truck. I understand how important it is to know the towing and hauling capability of every single vehicle out there. So if you don't want to hear, I can look it up for you, but you want someone that actually knows what the vehicle they're selling you can tow and haul in every scenario, then come see me, because I'm the truck guy.
Right? So same thing, if this was me, I drive Golf Rs. I love go fast GTI Golf R type cars. So that would be my ad. Hey, if you are driving a performance vehicle, don't go buy it from somebody who drove a minivan to work. Don't go get a 6-speed, 300 horsepower monster from someone that doesn't know how to do a drop shift, baby. I'm your guy, and I appreciate how cool it is that you're thinking about investing in the vehicle you are. So come shop with me. That would be the ad that I would do, because that's the car that I'm passionate about. But it could also be,
hey, are you looking for a car under $10,000? The only way to get a car like that is to work with a salesperson who's constantly being aware and making themselves aware of all the cars that are coming in, because everyone's looking for these cars. So if you need a guy on the inside that'll keep his nose to the ground and call you the moment your perfect vehicle is available.
You see what I did there? So all you're doing is selling yourself as the premium option for one particular type of vehicle purchase. So then, just like the other script, you can use the template here on the right to produce that script about whatever vehicle segment that you feel like you want to claim to be the master of.
So, hey, it's Name. I am the master of all-wheel drive vehicles. That's right. I study the entire segment, not just the ones that we sell, so that I can give you all of your options for an all-wheel drive vehicle in one visit. So if you're in the market for an all-wheel drive vehicle, then don't shop around and get some random lot or some random salesperson without the all-wheel drive experience. Shop with me, Bobby, and I'll make sure you have an awesome time and get the perfect all-wheel drive vehicle of your dreams.
See what I did there? So just work this template and get me this information, and I'll make sure that I present you as the product expert, your dealership as the place to buy. Customers have no idea of anything unless we tell them. If you're a premium SUV place or whether you have 5 on the lot, this is our chance to get the customer excited about the experience and opportunity of buying the product they're already interested in from you. Doesn't get easier than that. If you need any help producing this video, if you want to run your script by me or see other videos just like it, make no mistake, I am available. Both on the Discord server, you can message me, on Messenger, you can message me, and you can always reach out to my email at any time. All that information is available. If you found this video, you can find that out. Feel free to reach out to me and I'll help in any way that I can.